A more pertinent question to ask about the word woke might be, why in such a short time has it gone from a rallying cry to a pejorative? If the word only made you think of rational, deserved causes like teaching a less whitewashed version of American history, AOC would still want to own it. But it's a joke because it makes you think of people who wake up offended and take orders from Twitter, and their oversensitivity has grown tiresome.
Bill Maher unleashed a blistering critique of the Democratic Party, calling out its inability to rein in the woke faction that has dominated it for the past decade. Maher argued that because this radical wing played such a major role in last year's election defeat, the DNC should have already put distance between itself and that group. Instead, the party continues catering to the far-left fringe, pushing itself deeper into political irrelevance. Maher's comments were so pointed that they sent shockwaves through the DNC. Let's break it down.
But you never hear anyone bragging about being a liberal. There's no liberal Bob Schmohawk as a liberal who wants to enact more liberal policies. Democrats might want to think about what that means, because the implication is you're embarrassed by what liberalism has become, that the term is now irredeemably coupled with woke nonsense, which is a shame, because despite their nonsense, it's still generally a better product. But what does it say about your brand if you don't want to say what you are?
Maher blasted the DNC for what he called a chronic identity crisis. He said Democrats often look embarrassed by their own political heritage, endlessly apologizing for the past instead of embracing it. Meanwhile, Republicans proudly own their conservative identity and proclaim it at every opportunity. Whether one agrees with them or not, the GOP stands firm in its values. The DNC, however, seems stuck in endless self-doubt, trying to please everyone while losing its core identity. Maher's message couldn't be clearer. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. In today's polarized climate, a party weighed down by shame will lose to one that wears its convictions like armor.
What does it say about your brand if you don't want to say what you are? So much of liberal politics nowadays is identity politics, and yet it seems we found the one thing liberals won't identify as: liberals.
Now let's pause because Maher's point hits hard. Many modern liberals seem eager to champion every marginalized group imaginable. No matter how niche, if it signals moral virtue, they'll defend any trending ideology online, even when it's shallow or contradictory. But when it comes to defending liberalism itself, they fall silent. It's as though they're afraid of their own philosophy, terrified of being called intolerant or outdated. Instead of standing up for free speech, open debate, and individual liberty, the pillars of liberal thought, they've become trapped by political correctness. Maher's critique lands because it's accurate. Today's liberals don't debate. They cancel. They conform. They hide behind hashtags instead of ideas. And that, Maher warns, is why they keep losing cultural influence.
James Carville knew how to win, and he blamed the Democratic losses this November 2nd on stupid wokeness, to which AOC fired back that wokeness is a term almost exclusively used by older people these days. So that should tell you all you need to know. What? This is a term folks like you brought out very recently and had been proudly displaying at every march since. Just last year, The Guardian declared woke the word of our era. I guess they didn't get the memo from the Mean Girls Club. We don't use that emoji anymore. Woke, please, we say fetch now.
What's fascinating is how quickly the woke crowd has abandoned the very term they once flaunted. Just a few years ago, they proudly claimed it, plastering social media with hashtags, lectures, and moral grandstanding about being more enlightened and compassionate than everyone else. Now, they're quietly distancing themselves, pretending the word was never theirs or insisting critics distorted it. It's remarkable how fast a movement drops its own label when it becomes inconvenient. The same people who once weaponized woke to shame others are now scrambling as the term backfires. Maher's point lands cleanly. If your beliefs crumble under your own slogans, the problem isn't the word. It's the ideology behind it.
What a great strategy, never missing an opportunity to remind voters how lame and clueless and hopelessly uncool they are, especially since those are the ones who actually vote. But okay, fine. What word would you like us to use for the plainly insane excesses of the left that are not liberalism, but something completely different? Because you can't have that word liberal from us and think it should cover things like canceling Lincoln and teaching third graders their oppressors. That's all your new thing.
It's almost poetic that the woke crowd now finds the term woke offensive and is sprinting away from it. But here's the twist. They haven't abandoned the ideology at all. They've simply rebranded the same ideas under different names. The core beliefs remain, the notions that gender is limitless, that men can get pregnant, and that hiring should prioritize race over ability. The only difference is the label woke has been scrubbed away and replaced with something more palatable. But make no mistake, the mindset persists. Anti-common sense, anti-reality, and detached from the lives of ordinary people. They may have ditched the word, but not the absurdity. As Maher argues, changing the label doesn't fix the problem, it just hides the hypocrisy.
If the word only made you think of rational, deserved causes like teaching a less whitewashed version of American history, AOC would still want to own it. But it's a joke, because it makes you think of people who wake up offended and take orders from Twitter, and their oversensitivity has grown tiresome. That said, I would love to have AOC on this show.
Beyond their questionable ideology, the woke crowd seems stuck in a constant state of outrage. Nothing ever satisfies them. If the present offers no target, they dig through centuries of history to find something. An old quote, statue, or painting, to launch their next crusade. Victimhood has become a full-time job, and when they do latch onto something that offends them, they don't just critique it, they cancel it. Great historical figures and thinkers are being erased because their views don't align with 21st century Twitter standards. Maher is right to mock this hysteria. It's not progress, it's regression. A society that rewrites history to avoid discomfort isn't enlightened. It's fragile. And that fragility, Maher warns, is eating away at the Democratic Party from the inside.
That said, I would love to have AOC on this show. There's so much to admire there. I was one of her first supporters for the Green New Deal idea. But that will probably never happen, because Democrats don't go anywhere these days where they're not pre-adored. And that's my last bit of advice to them. Go where the amen corner isn't. Do Fox News. Be brave. Come here. Go everywhere. Winning is about expanding the electorate.
I seriously doubt Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez would ever agree to an interview where her views are genuinely challenged. She prefers interviewers who toss softball questions, giving her space to attack Republicans and Donald Trump. Anything beyond that, and she becomes suddenly too selective or too busy. AOC perfectly represents what's wrong with today's Democratic Party. A culture of political comfort zones. The DNC sticks to media outlets that already agree with them, creating an echo chamber where tough questions never arise and accountability is non-existent. Maher's frustration with this mentality is justified. A movement afraid to defend its ideas outside its own bubble isn't confident. It's fearful. And fear now drives far too much of the Democratic discourse.
Democrats who 1 year from now will be licking their wounds and asking themselves how they could have lost the midterms so badly must instead ask themselves that question now. Now. You know, now. Like, while there's still time to do something about it.
And I completely agree. Nearly a year after their election loss, Democrats still can't gain momentum in the polls. Despite media support and polished messaging, they haven't convinced voters they can handle the country's biggest issues. Meanwhile, Trump continues dominating discussions on the border, the economy, national security, and America's global role. Personality aside, Trump has an instinct for what resonates with ordinary Americans. His popularity may fluctuate, but his command of the major issues remains steady. Voters may not always like him, but they trust his toughness. And Democrats still haven't learned how to match that, because safe talking points and empty slogans can't compete with policies that feel real to people.
A couple of weeks ago, Amy Klobuchar was here, and when I suggested the Democrats need a messaging czar, she offered me the job. Well, you need a messaging czar in your party.
And do you think it should be you?
Amy, I'm flattered. But after careful consideration, I must decline. The hours it would take me away from home would make it very difficult on my family. But I will tonight, once again, break out my coach hat and try to point the Democrats in the right direction. That's all I can do.
Maher is absolutely right. The DNC desperately needs a messaging czar because their communication strategy is a disaster. No one could even identify Kamala Harris's core message during the 2024 campaign. It was scattered, inconsistent, and overly focused on appeasing the far left instead of appealing to mainstream voters. The party seemed more interested in virtue signaling than in providing real solutions to real problems. What they need is someone who can bring clarity, coherence, and conviction to their message. Someone who can translate complex policies into language working families and independent voters can connect with. Until Democrats learn how to communicate with ordinary Americans, no number of hashtags or celebrity endorsements will save them. In politics, if your message doesn't land, nothing else matters.
I know liberals think this country is full of dumb white people, but in our democracy, dumb white people make up a substantial portion of the vote. The median voter is a white person in their 50s who didn't go to college, their favorite TV show is NCIS, and their pronouns are what? I don't know what the you're talking about, and get away from me. In 2008, Republicans only won 4 Virginia counties by more than 70%. This month, in the governor's election there, they did it in 45 counties. And this is what a lot of Democrats were told was the reason for that. Glenn Youngkin's win proves white ignorance is a powerful weapon. Racism still works in Virginia. It's not the messaging, folks. This country simply still loves white supremacy.
And it's this exact kind of messaging that has dragged the DNC into its current mess. A tone-deaf, self-righteous narrative that blames everyone except themselves. Woke rhetoric frames every problem in America as the fault of conservatives, corporations, the media, or vague systemic forces, but never the Democratic Party's own failures. Whenever they lose ground, they scramble for scapegoats instead of accountability. Maher's frustration hits the core of the issue. The DNC has become addicted to deflection. Instead of reflecting and correcting course, they double down on the same stale talking points. Until Democrats take responsibility and reconnect with reality, their credibility and voter base will continue to erode.
Well, I haven't worked up an official Democratic campaign slogan for 2024 yet, but I tell you what I have ruled out is vote Democrat because white people suck. It's like trying to get laid by saying, you're ugly, you want to dance? You're alienating a whole lot of people, particularly whites without a college degree, which is most of them in a country that's still 70% white. I'd say do the math, but math is a form of white supremacy.
In the end, Maher's takedown of the Democratic Party wasn't just brutal, it was necessary. He exposed the cracks that many pretend not to see. The obsession with woke ideology, the chaotic messaging, and the refusal to face uncomfortable truths. The DNC keeps chasing approval from the loudest activists instead of listening to the silent majority. Until they rediscover courage, accountability, and common sense, they'll keep losing ground to candidates who understand the country's pulse. Maher didn't attack them for entertainment. He did it to demonstrate what honest leadership looks like. And that brings us to the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.